You know you're in trouble. You know you're in trouble when Ferris and I show.
I am holding the sign, guys. Yes, this is the spirit right here. Woo! Oh, you was kind of looking. Oh, Jamie, what are you doing? Jamie.
Let's take a moment and thank everyone who's organized this week of activities. When you participate in an activity like this, you help keep the dream alive. There's so many lessons to share on a day like today, but I think the number one lesson is that any group of people who come together for a common cause can make a difference. And I'm so pleased that you took time to remember those who are less fortunate. There's never been a time in our country where the gap between those that have and those who don't has been larger. Our job as a society is to help address people's needs. And whether you reach out to people here or you reach out to people to Haiti, one of the lessons of today is that you can indeed make a difference. Thanks so much.
It's a great spirit here. I'm glad to see all of you here. Karma and I were, Karma's back there someplace, and I think we've been here for every one of these marches, and I think that every year I learn a lot more, and every year I'm even more impressed with the students that we have at the institution. I'll say a little bit about that right at the end, but the millennial student is an excellent student and ready to do the kind of work that needs to be done. Dr. King was an icon of the age. I think Matt has me talk, not because he wants to hear me talk, but because I was a contemporary of Dr. King. And I think that one of the things I'd like for you to know, he was big in the sense of being popular, not just in being a civil rights leader, not just being a religious leader, although that was very important. He was just very popular. If you'd walk into a residence hall, you would look down the hall and you'd see open doors. I don't think John Schaefer will let you do this anymore, but they used to, they could put up posters, and one of the posters that was always there was Martin Luther King. The other one is usually, by the way, John F. Kennedy, just so you know, but certainly Martin Luther King was there. He was a religious man. I think that in many ways, religious men are important people, but particularly in this case, he talks about religion as sort of an active process of actually doing things. He was the voice of an age. I think when you see a quotation of this very new age in the United States, you'll see the person that is quoted, and the individual is almost always Martin Luther King. By the way, he's quoted by a lot of people you would not think would quote him, but they certainly find his words inspiring now. One of the things I'd like to tell you, and
many of you know that I'm pretty new here. I moved over here from Green Bay. Yes, we're still in mourning in Green Bay, but that's another topic. Each day, I call my wife and report on my day's activities and tell her a little bit about Ferris and a little bit about the community. And I'm looking forward to my phone call tonight because I get to share with her what a wonderful event this has been and what it symbolizes to be part of a community that cares deeply about the issues that Martin Luther King Jr. So proudly stood for, and the fact that to be a member of this community that stands with the ideals of Martin Luther King Jr. and does a march like today is really a wonderful symbol. So thank you very much.
And if you go back 45 years ago to Selma, Alabama, I'm from Mobile, Alabama, actually Pritchett, Highway 45. But you go to Selma, Alabama, which was up the road from us, and there was a bridge there 45, listen up, hey, I'm almost done. It's 45 years ago, and the police did not do what the police did today. Today, the nice police officer, and I just forgot his name, his wife was in my, used to be across the hall from me, I forgot his name. But he came up to the organizers of the march, and he said this, how do you want me to direct traffic? And would you like for me to pause right out in front of FLITE so that people can get a good look at you, right? Now go back 45 years ago, and that song you were singing today, the one about We Are Not Afraid, that was just not a song you didn't know the words to. When those people were standing on that side of the bridge, getting ready to try to walk to Montgomery, they had every reason in the world to be what? Afraid, because they were getting ready to be beat down. They were getting ready to be beat down, all the way down. It wasn't a symbolic march. It wasn't a march commemorating something. They were trying to get from Selma to Montgomery for the right to vote. To vote. Just to vote. And so they stood on that side of the bridge and asked, can we just walk? This is the United States of America. Can we just walk over to the other side? And if you go back and look at, what do they call that day in Selma, Alabama? Bloody Sunday. Bloody Sunday. And you know they showed the pictures of that march on ABC and all around, right? Y'all weren't born, but you've seen the footage. Your parents seen the footage. They showed the pictures of that, and there was a woman up here in Detroit, a white woman. What was her name? Louisa. How you pronounce Liuzzo?
Louisa.
She saw that, decided to go to Wayne State and have a march there in sympathy with the protesters down in Alabama, and then she got religion and decided she wanted to go down to the actual march and help register people to vote. Again, I want you thinking, when you're thinking about the words that you're singing, they're not just words. We're not afraid. She had every reason to be afraid. She got to Alabama, a couple of days later, she was dead. All right? Now, I don't say that for any other reason than to say this. Whatever we do in this world, we're standing on the shoulders of folks that came before us. Whatever. When I got my PhD from Ohio State, when I walked across that stage, it wasn't for me. It was for every person of color who was not allowed to get educated in the United States. That's what it was for. And when you are here, every day that you get a chance to study is not just for you. It's for the years and years and years when people that look like the person who looks out in your mirror could not come here or any other school.
I'm very proud today to see
Last thing I want to say.
So many students here today for the march. And I encourage you all to be at all the events this week. To me, it's as Dr. Pilgrim says, when I reflect on this day, I think about me and I see you all today and think about the people behind us who fought for us to have these liberties today, to be in school, to be working today, to be in classes. And it's nothing to take, it's nothing to take for granted, I expect everybody here to say, I'm graduating and I'm going to have my piece of paper that says I got through college. We have young children here. We're going to encourage them as well. But it's just powerful to see so many students here today and to see the faces and see the colors, to see the youth, to see the experience in here. I'm not going to say the other word. I'm going to say experience. And to see us all together. If you think about this, about 40 years ago, this would not be the case. We have something good today. But at the same time, and when things are
our big
right,
thing in the office at this point, and it always has been, is student leadership. When you look at the organizations that are here present today, they chose to come here. You all chose to come here on your day off. Instead of going to the rec, instead of going to the rock, you came for 15, 20 minutes to be a part of history. And it makes me think of a poem very dear to Delta Sigma Theta. I think it's called Takes a Minute. Just take a minute and think about what you all are into. This is history. You can laugh and chuckle. Take a minute to think about what Dr. Pilgrim has said. Think about those words that you said, we shall overcome. Just take a minute to think about that. Today, take a minute to think about how I can serve and be about what I'm here for, to serve. It's not just about you. Think about our communities back home. Think about the community of Haiti.